Okay, so recently AppScript rolled out the ability to have history versions within AppScript projects. You're up to, there's a limit to that. You're allowed up to 200 versions of your script, and it's fully detailed in there. You can go through to that. Okay, this is really good. So Google's created the ability to link to a specific time in a Google Drive video. So obviously there's a number of ways in which you could be sharing videos, and maybe you don't want your students going to YouTube, or maybe YouTube is blocked. If you have a video in Google Drive, you can now share a specific time within that Google Drive video. Obviously go to Drive, open up the video, there's the sharing option there, and then you can choose a time. Okay, what is coming? I can't show this yet because I don't have this on any of my accounts yet, but it's just an easier way to share from the file. So rather than clicking on share when you've got a slide or a document open, rather than clicking on share and opening up that window to get the link, there's going to be a little drop-down button where you can just click on copy link and also see like the highest level of sharing that's available in that document. You'll also be able to see access requests as well. So rather than having to open up, and that sharing window was redesigned a couple of months ago as well, but rather than having to open up the sharing window, there's a little drop-down box to some of the more frequent actions you might be taking within sharing. Functions in connected sheets. If you're using connected sheets for BigQuery, that's connecting to your data that is housed within BigQuery from within Google Sheets. There's some improvements to the functions which are available in that. So it's just a way in which the functions work. The way in which functions work within connected sheets is slightly different to how you would expect within Google Sheets, but now it comes up with a contextual window on how those functions work. Okay, I'm just going to skip past that. I'm going to skip past Google Meet hardware. Okay, and again, just a reminder, workspaceupdates.com. You'll see all of these slides if you want to go back through these. Okay, easily sharing Google Drive files to calendar meeting attendees. This has gotten a lot easier now. So if you're the file owner, if you have access to the file as the owner or the editor, go to the share button, type in the name of the calendar event. So for example, it could be the monthly update calls, and you'll be able to share with everybody in that event, in that meeting, in that call. And that's really good because I always do that. You join a meeting, you realize nobody's got access to your doc. Well, you can do it straight away with everybody's in that meeting, everybody that's been invited. Okay, I'm going to move past those metrics. Okay, the first of the sort of, I think, the more useful updates for teachers this month, converting Google Forms into practice sets in Google Classroom. So if you have Google Workspace Education Plus, then you have access to Google Practice Sets. If you're using Google Classroom, of course, this would apply to you. You can go to Google Classroom, you can create a practice set, and you can already import questions from a PDF. So if you open up practice sets within Classroom, you import a PDF, and then you sort of drag a box around the different questions within the PDF. Well, now you can do a very similar thing with Google Forms. So you create your practice set, you import questions, the window will pop up, and you can choose from between PDFs, images, or Google Forms will be an option as well. You select your Google form, and then it will import the questions from the Google form. So essentially converting those legacy assignments from Google Forms into the much improved practice sets. I have actually, yeah, this actually rolled out already. I've seen this on my account already. I've tested this. So people should be seeing that. If they're not yet, they should be seeing it within this month. Let's move past that one. I don't know if this will apply to, I don't know if anybody's using, has users using the screen reader. Gmail, basic HTML view has been disabled. There is a guide. If anybody's using screen readers, there's a guide, and all of the support documentation is linked from here. So if anybody is using assisted devices or assisted view, screen readers. This is worth looking into. Okay, admin accounts, enforcement of two-step verification. Everybody here is super experienced admins. I'm sure everybody has two-step verification already enabled, but it is rolling out. It is being enforced. When it becomes enforced on a domain, there is a 30-day announcement. So admins have 30 days to enable that two-step verification. If a domain neglects to enable two-step verification, you will be locked out. You can get access, but it can take a little bit of time to get that access back. But I'm sure everybody has two-step verification already enabled. Okay, so I think this applies to larger domains. Dynamic groups limit has been increased to 500. So previously it was only 100. A dynamic group is enabled to users on, actually on Education Plus. I know it says Google Workspace. Actually, this is a premium feature under Education Plus. Dynamic groups enable you to populate a group based upon fields from a user's profile. So it could be their department, it could be their building, it could be whether they're a student or a staff member, and it would look at their profile to populate those groups. And the total number of groups you're allowed now is up to 500. I think for very large organizations, perhaps school districts or universities, 500 still might be a little bit low. If any domain needs more than 500 dynamic groups, I believe you can actually reach out to Google to have that limit increased as well. 500 is probably enough for most schools. Okay, so this is an interesting one, and I could see this being particularly useful in certain countries. So I'm here in Thailand. In Thailand, naming convention is slightly different. Thai people have a nickname, which is commonly used, and then their formal name is less used. So it's always difficult to know how to show that name, show that profile information. So what users can now do is choose what information is shown from their profile. They can actually choose how their name is displayed on their profile. By default, this is turned off. So they can't make this change unless this is allowed by the domain. But when it's turned on, the user is able to select how their name is displayed and also whether their image or profile photo is displayed as well. This is in open beta. That means that everybody has access to this. I don't know if you can choose this by OU. Haven't looked that much into it. I believe you can. Okay, I think Bitbucket will skip this. This is about Git-based code. If anybody's using that, there's access to that now from Google Chat. Okay, this is fully rolled out, interactive questions. Keep talking about this because I think this is brilliant. If you're familiar with Edpuzzle, this is a similar feature set built into Google Classroom. Again, this is on the premium versions of Google. So again, if you're using Google Classroom, you want to add a video to Google Classroom. Typically, you would add the video. Now a window pops up and it will say add questions. When you click on add,
sorry.
Yeah, Dan.
No, I was gonna just please drop a note in the chat if you've got your teachers using this. I mean, we found this is if you're looking to get more buy-in to Google Classroom at your school, this is one of those things that does it. Teachers love this. So I'm just curious, drop a note in the chat if you've got people using it, if you're thinking about it, because like I say, we found this, probably even more than practice sets has been something teachers really like.
Yeah, it's such an easy thing to use as well. You click on add questions, it opens a video up, you select your timestamps and you add your question. So it's been fully rolled out from December now.
I'm presuming the deathly silence in the chat means no one is actually using this. So you should all take a look at it. It's really good.
Okay, another good update again, this is for Google Classroom users, and this is for all education fundamentals, so the free license and the paid version. This is for everybody. The ability to excuse an assignment in Google Classroom. So rather than marking a student if for whatever reason, they're not submitting that work, rather than giving them a 0, you can now excuse the assignment. Or perhaps you want to drop their lowest grade, for example, you can just add in excuse, rather than coming up with missing and affecting their grade within Google Classroom. Okay, so now there's an improvement to the way in which building blocks and smart chips work within Google Docs. And so what you can actually do now when you type in the @ sign, in fact, that's a big update to Docs, is you'll start a new document and the @ sign appears by default just at the top. If you click on the @ sign, you can see the little animated GIF there, the drop down of all the different smart chips. I think that menu is getting a little unwieldy now. It's ever so long. I think Google's going to have to tidy that up at some time. But that will drop down, and now you have the ability to add in, to insert smart chips, so people, timers, and so on. And there's another update, I think we'll see it in a minute, where you can insert placeholders. So if you're creating templates or building blocks, then you can add in placeholders for people or places as well. I think that'll come up in a moment. Yeah, just an update to how these smart chips are working. Okay, Hudley cameras, we'll skip that. Meet add-ons. Oh yeah, the Meet add-ons, it's just, I think this suggests we're going to see more apps available within Google Meet over the next few months, because the SDK is available for developers. So we'll probably see more apps coming to Google Meet. We'll see how that rolls out. Just going to skip that. Oh yeah, this is the placeholder chips that I just mentioned. So if you create a template or a building block, or you're sharing a document for users to use as a template, you can add in placeholders. And what that means is, if you just wait for the GIF to refresh, you can see date, and then on the next one, you'll see a placeholder there for place. When the user clicks on those, they'll be recommended to search for a place, or to enter a date, or to enter a person. So those are just placeholders. Sounds less exciting when I talk about it, but it's really useful for me. Okay. Google Chat has had a number of different updates in the last few months. One of them here is just announced about improving the search results. So it will highlight the specific text. When a search result comes up, it will highlight the specific text that you've been searching for. Okay, e-signatures. So this is not fully rolled out to every version of Google just yet. This e-signatures works a little bit like HelloSign or DocuSign. We've been using it for a few months now internally. So Apps Events, we're on the business version of Google. We signed up to the beta for the e-signature tool. That's how we got early access. Here it's just announcing that it's been rolled out to individual subscribers. It will be coming to education, but they're doing it edition by edition. So I couldn't actually say when the rollout date for that will be. It works really, really well. So within e-signatures, you have a document, and in fact, very soon you'll be able to do this directly from a PDF as well. You have a document, you put in your signature block and the name block, you send it to the people who are being invited to sign your document. They'll get a notification. They will open the document. It will be essentially an editable PDF, and they can sign that document. The document could be signed by multiple users, multiple signatories, and it can be sent to non-Gmail users as well. So if you're thinking that you need to send this to parents, and they're on, God forbid, they might be on Yahoo Mail or another email platform, then you can send it to all of those different accounts.
James, I've got a question about this. Am I right that the previous, I haven't used this yet, am I right that the previous version only had one, you can only have one signature, and that's why it wasn't quite as useful as DocuSign or HelloSign, but now you can have multiple signatures, you can basically cancel your HelloSign subscription?
Exactly that. When we first got access, it only had one signatory. It was kind of useless, to be honest, with only one, but now it's multiple. And they're bringing the ability to have variables as well. So you can have custom fields that people can fill in. So not just name, signature, date. You can have, for example, Dan, I was looking at our contract agreement where we have people fill in custom fields. You can now do that, or you will be able to do that with e-signatures as well. So it really, from our perspective, it really does replace HelloSign, DocuSign.
Yeah, and again, for people looking at Education Plus, this is like people are always looking what subscriptions can I cancel, and a lot of schools have a DocuSign subscription. This is another one you could get rid of.
Okay, there's a update about notifications to Google Chat DLP rules. I'll leave that one there. There's an update to policy violations on iOS devices. People can look into that. Again, another update to Google Chat interface. You can mute notifications for specific conversations. Skip past these. Oh, this was good. This was announced in early December. I can see this being quite useful. New beta for granular options for who can respond to Google Forms. So rather than letting anybody within your domain or any user internally or externally respond to your form, you can actually create audiences. You can use audiences now, specify users, groups, and target audiences to fill out your Google form. So for example, maybe you only want staff to be able to fill out your form. If you have a group, a target audience, or a group for staff, then you can restrict it to only those people who would have access to the form and be able to fill that out. Okay, I'm just going to skip past a couple of these. Google Chat again. Oh yeah, this is a brilliant one. I think I was speaking to Mark yesterday in Korea about this. You can now use you can solve simple math equations in Google Docs. It's brilliant. I use it a lot if we're writing up any kind of report or proposal. It's a super simple way, just so you don't have to go to a calculator separately. I love this. I use it a lot. So you just type in your calculation, hit the equal sign, and it will show you the answer to that equation. Possibly not so useful for any math teachers who are using Google Docs with their students, but definitely good for me. A little update to Google Vault audit logs. They're now available alongside other Workspace audit logs in the admin console. Okay, I'm just going to skip past a couple of these. Device-specific updates we'll skip past. Google Classroom roster import from SIS. I'm going to skip this because the SIS, which are referenced, are not commonly used by the community. Google Vault has been upgraded to support Google Calendar now. Okay, everybody's probably seen this already, so nothing really that needs explaining about this. There is a new homepage view in Google Drive. So when you open up Google Drive, by default, it will be the home view. And there's just a better way to access what Google thinks are the files that you want to work on or that you want to look at. If you read into this, they talk about machine learning to uncover the files they think you should look at. It's a new Material Design 3 interface. So yeah, I'm sure you can read into this one. Yeah, Google Drive Scanner on Android and iOS was updated. So when you hover it, when you go to Google Drive, you tap Scan. When you hover over a document, a receipt, or a business card, it will automatically frame and crop the document that you're looking at. Really good update, love it. I've used it on both Android and iOS. Really simple, but good update for scanning. Okay, device specific, we'll skip that. Okay, shareable video presentations in Google Slides. Very exciting to see this. No longer need to revert or resort to a screen recorder for this. If you start a slide deck, if you open up a slide deck, there will be a button where you can create a new video recording of the slide deck. So you can walk through the video recording, you can narrate it, you can click through the slides, you can point something out in its own recording video, and you can own recording view, and you can see that. This is rolling out to the paid version of Google, so Education Plus. Initially, this was announced in November, but they delayed the rollout. I'm assuming they had a few problems with it. So then it began rolling out in January again. I haven't seen it on my accounts just yet, but they said it started complete rollout on January the 2nd, and over the next 15 days, we should be seeing it fairly soon. Everybody, I think, seen this now. Raise your hand, gesture detection. So if you raise your hand, if this is turned on, of course, within Google Meet, it will recognize that. Okay, there are updates to managing iOS devices and purchasing and distributing apps using Apple Volume Purchase Program. So I think that I know a lot of schools are using iOS devices. I think we could probably have a separate conversation about that. And more languages available for Google Meet captions. Just pointing this one out because English UK is now supported in captions. Very excited to see that. So I can turn on UK captions and turn off my US captions. Very, very happy to see that. Of course, just jokes aside, we now have several new languages there. Thai and Vietnamese, I saw, are now new languages to that. So it'll be good to see how those work. There's a caveat, of course. Google always says these have just rolled out, they're in beta, and you may see some errors in translation. Very honestly, as Peter and I have been working on a project for a few months in Japanese and Indonesian, Japanese especially is a very difficult language to translate. So we've seen mixed success with Japanese, but several other languages do work really well.